Now I want to look at PDFs now. So PDFs, this is basically a formal record of important information. So often used to create certificates or used to create statements of attainment or invoices. You can also use them to create course outlines. You can use them to create basically almost anything you want, pretty much. You're able to create these PDFs on the fly. And the great thing about this is we're able to effectively create PDFs as if they're a mail merge. So we can use them just like you do for Word documents. And in fact, we've got some amazing features coming up in the next release to make PDFs and the way we capture information even more dynamic and more, you have even more control over it, which is pretty exciting. So look out for that. COVID slowed things down a bit, but we're definitely hoping to get that release out pretty soon. I've stopped saying in the next 2 weeks because it hasn't actually happened in the past 4 weeks when I've been saying that. So it will happen, just not overnight. Okay, so let's go into the PDF. So let's talk about this. We've got, here we are, we're going to talk about a new PDF, and you create that through publish and then content and then add, just as you do for an email. Publish, content, add. It's just the same. So in fact, if you know how to do emails, you're going to be pretty good at doing PDFs as well, because we use the same sort of functionality around being able to add the variables in. We use the same functionality in being able to add the content in. It's a very straightforward. So we specify the file name, the content, and the settings, as you're going to see in a moment. We're going to show you the editor window, which you've all seen already, because it's the same editor window as editing email. So it's all pretty straightforward. Mail merge like fields, we've already, again, it's exactly the same as email, so you should be familiar with those. I'm going to talk about linking forms, which is a bit different. So we link forms to a PDF, and we're going to talk about previewing the PDF, checking the HTML design, because to be honest, once you design something, a template, a PDF template, it's not going to look exactly the same. That's the reality, is that when we transfer things from an HTML environment to a PDF environment, the reality is that things don't quite always match up. Okay, so things like spacing, things like even sometimes the font sizes are a little bit different. That's just the dilemma of creating PDFs. If everyone's had to edit those sorts of things and edit HTML documents. Okay, so here we go. Again, pretty standard stuff. Go to publish, go to this area, content, get a list of the content, and then filter by PDF or click on new. Or if you're already editing something, you can click on the edit button and you can start, or viewing a PDF, you can click on edit and start editing it straight away. Again, the content type is PDF. Name and label can be pretty much standard. We've got an extra tab here. So in addition to the file name for the PDF and the PDF content, we've also got PDF settings. This allows you to put things like page numbers down the bottom of your PDF, which is pretty handy. And we're going to be expanding that out to be doing even more things like changing the format, for example, of the pages. So you know, landscape versus portrait, and different page sizes. And then down the bottom, you've got the option to add forms, which is also something you wouldn't find in emails. So there's a bit of a variation there. So instead of linking PDFs, obviously not going to do that, and linking file categories, we're adding forms. And the reason why forms are added is because we need to link those forms to know where should we be getting the information from. Which of the forms should we be extracting the data from? And so we basically, what I do is I tend to go in here and add all of the document forms on there. So all of the document forms you can see under forms, publish forms. So if you go into forms, publish forms, have a look at the document forms. Those are the ones to link down the bottom here. You'll probably get away with less than that, but that's a good safe bet. And then make sure you click on save to the right there. Okay, here's the editor window. You've seen this editor window before. This is the same editor window as when doing emails. Again, pretty standard stuff. You can see there at the moment, this editor window isn't actually displaying the live plus button for the variables, but it's the same idea where we've got this ability to modify the formats, the ability to modify the layout, and of course the font styles, etc., adding tables and things like that. So that's all pretty standard. So I'm going to move on from this one. Shortcode variables. Okay, now we're going to add shortcode. Again, this is exactly the same as the email. We go in here, we click on the little button there. We type in, this time it's an external ID we're adding. So you can see we've added an external identifier to the end of the file name. So that's, again, external identifier is pretty useful. It uniquely identifies the document and therefore the enrollment by the student. And adding an external identifier can be pretty useful to add into the file name. It can also be pretty useful to add at the bottom of emails as well. So the external identifier, I encourage you to add that into the bottom of all your emails. It should be there already, but if not, feel free to go ahead and do that. So that's shortcode variables. We'll be doing a bit more detail about shortcode variables in a session in a short while. Okay, so now linking forms. It's the same process when it comes to linking forms. You're going to be doing the same thing as you did before when you added a file category for the emails, but it's just a form, and you can add more of them. And you tend to need to add a few forms on here because you need to make sure you're linking to as many forms as you think you're going to get information from. So make sure you choose necessary forms for that. Okay, now this is pretty clever. This is the ability for us to have a look at a PDF without having to send an email to ourselves every single time we make a change. Okay, so what this does is this utilizes the fact that we can preview the PDFs in their complete format by looking at the status preview, the workflow history. And what it does is it allows you to click on the link, download the PDF. When it downloads, it's going to use the saved PDF template. So whatever changes you've made to the PDF template, immediately you'll have access to it. So you can see here, we're looking at a list of documents. Get past there, we'll just look at the PDF, just wait for the animation to get through. Okay, so this is a list of documents. We're clicking on the status history for the document. Then we're clicking on the second button, which is the magnifying glass with the plus sign. And then we're clicking on the PDF, okay? Now you can actually do this from the magnifying glass beside the workflow icon when you're editing a document as well. So there's actually two ways of getting in here. This is the nice easy way because it just goes to the list and you can quickly go to the step which has the PDF, click on the PDF icon and download the PDF so you can have a quick look at it to see whether or not it's changed as you expected. So this is a good way of, because generally when you're creating PDFs, you're going to be going back and forth. You can be tweaking it, going back, having a look, tweaking it, having a look. I've literally created 40 or 50 different copies of a PDF until I've got exactly the right format. So it takes time and it's a little bit tiring, but once you get there, you're pretty happy with it and just sort of leave it. Don't touch it once you've got it right, okay? Okay, here's a quiz now. So which of the following do you not specify in a PDF template? Look here, there's, do you specify the PDF file name? I'm pretty sure we specify the PDF file name. What about the PDF content? Well, that's one of the tabs, isn't it? So the other tab, of course, isn't listed here as settings. So those two are we definitely do those. The email that the PDF is attached to. Yeah, we don't specify the email that the PDF is attached to. We do that in the email. So in the email, we specify the PDF, not the PDF to the email. And yes, you are right, Kim, we do not specify who should receive the PDF because again, we don't even specify that at the email. We specify that, we specify the role at the rule. So the process rule specifies the role and then we define the role, whatever's attached to the course date or the course master, or maybe it's a predefined role like, for example, branch or the student from the document. And then of course, we do specify where forms have come from though. So yes, D and C, I believe are correct. C, yes, great. Glad I got that right. Okay, so you need to send an email each time you want to review a PDF template formatting. True or false? Do we have to go through the process of sending an email each time we want to review the PDF template formatting? Oh, I have to phone those guys back. No, of course we don't. We do not have to do that. It is definitely false. And then I've got a little bit more in here, gone all overboard. You can use the preview button under status history for the step that includes the PDF to download. I need to apply the step once. Each download uses the new template format changes. Okay, excellent, well done guys. Okay, so straight on to telling you what the right answer is then. So when a PDF is not attached, which of the following could cause this? And it is, of course, the PDF might not be linked to the email. So if a PDF is not attached, sometimes when you think you've set everything up correctly, it's not quite working. Check to see whether the PDF is not linked to the email. I just might see some other things here. Or the PDF might not have correct forms linked to it. No, that's it. I was just checking to see if I accidentally chosen some others. So these are the two reasons. So the form might not have the correct the PDF might not have the correct forms linked to it, or the PDF might not be linked to the email. Those are the two common reasons why the PDF is not attaching to the email as expected. It's nothing to do with file categories. File categories, PDFs, they don't even reside in the same household. They're not interested in each other. They certainly social distance as much as they can. PDFs might not be published. You don't publish PDFs. So PDFs don't get published. So it's nothing to do with publishing PDFs. Forms get published, but not PDFs. Okay, so when creating new records, which order would be most sensible? Here we go. Here's another one of these sequencing questions. So if you're going to create a PDF, what do you think you should start doing first? Or when you get into creating the PDF, what do you go, oh, darn, I haven't done something? Well, it might be that you haven't created the field or the form, right? Yes, that's right. Well done, Kim. So it's A. You've got to create the field, then the form, then the PDF. So that's pretty important, because if you create the field and you want the field to go on a form, you've got to do the field before you do the form. You publish the form, and then you start creating your PDF. That'd be the way to do it. And then, of course, after here, that's when you can then create your emails once you create your PDF, because then you can link your PDF to your email. Great, we got that right. Excellent. Okay, so again, we've got an activity here you can look at. So creating a PDF using two variable fields. Now, this is very similar, basically exactly the same as doing an email. So using the variable fields in a PDF, the activities you do by adding in the variables, exactly the same. Now, linking the correct form to the PDF, that can be tricky, but make sure you know which of the names of your document forms and link those to the PDF, because usually your PDFs are going to be things like certificates or statements of attainment or invoices, and they're gleaning that information from the documents. So that's how we create those PDFs. And then link the PDF to an email. So once you've got a PDF there, in fact, if you've already got an email there, just check to see that it's linked to a PDF and see how it is linked to the PDF. And you can go to the PDF even. Great way to do that is hold Control key down as you click on the little magnifying glass to view the PDF. And then when it opens up into a new window or a new tab, you can then click on the Edit button underneath Content, beside Content, and you'll immediately be editing that particular PDF, which is pretty handy.